Welcome to our chat this evening. I am tagging Roopak. Yes, yes, yes. I am so happy to be here again with Roopak. We're going to wrap this thing up and focus on self. We are excited to share and to let you know how important it is that we get ourselves right. Because if we ain't right, we cannot get anyone else right. It is critical for us to get right, be right. I'm waiting for us to make a connection here. Rupal, give me a thumbs up or send me a message once you get connected, once you get the link and you get in the chat. Get in the group. It is so exciting to see how so many of you are growing and stretching, and I'm so happy to coach as many of you that I am coaching. Let me know how you guys are doing and so forth. Just taking a moment here. So like I said, today's take 2 with Roopak. The last time we had some great conversation. Unfortunately, we had some technical issues. So today we're just going to do an abbreviated version of it. We're going to just talk about like 2 things, and he's going to share a little bit, and we are going to jump right in as soon as he can get in the conversation with me. It's no fun when you're having a conversation all by yourself. It is no fun at all. Let me make sure that he is connected with me. It says there's one person on. I'm not sure. Okay, Roopak, you're on. Good. All right. I see you give me a thumbs up. All right. I'm adding you now. Exactly. And you should be coming on shortly. I'm so excited that we can really, get this done. Hey!
Hey there. Hi,
How
Shiji.
are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good, good. I'm so glad that our times are in sync this time. We're
True,
on
true.
the
Make
right
sure that
time
I
zone.
don't move around and I'm loitering outside and doing my things. So I made sure I stay home.
Okay, hey, good. Thank you so much for doing that. I am
Yeah.
so excited that you had time. I know you're a busy person. You're doing so much, and I'm gonna jump right in today so that I can give you back some time in your day. So
No.
we're talking about self, rise above and beyond your book, and like I said the last time when I picked it up, I couldn't put it down. And there's so many great nuggets in there, and I hope those who are in Igniters, if you haven't bought it yet, you need to get out there and buy it. And he already put the information in the link in the last conversation, but we're going to put it here again so that you
Sure.
can't miss it. He's also going to put his information on the book Soar. So tell me about Soar. What was Soar about? Because that was your first book, right?
Right. Absolutely. So primarily is about my own transformation journey
Mm-hmm.
and what during this particular process, what I learned
Mm-hmm.
and what are the different virtues which I consider made it possible for me to where I came to one particular point to the from X, but so and I tried to depict them so
Gotcha.
that anybody who would like to really unleash themselves
Mm-hmm.
from the potential perspective, wherever they have a blockage,
Mm-hmm.
wherever they feel that there is something missing for them to accomplish, and
Mm-hmm.
then the way I have put in the book and
Mm-hmm.
structured it, it is all awakenings in
Mm-hmm.
terms of different virtues which you can build upon.
Right.
Starts from knowing your why, what is
Yes.
your purpose, what are your
Yes.
values, what are your
Mm-hmm.
idols, and
Mm-hmm.
then it it slowly goes further into generating self-drive, self-esteem, self-efficacy. And, and so essentially, I know that I was able to do or be whatever I became, whatever I am now, through a lot of different processes.
Right.
And put it all down with my own experience, my wisdom, my learnings, lot of mentors, and I also put some inspirations, featured inspiration.
Yes.
So that was the key, that it is not about theory.
No
I
theory.
talk with people. No, it's not theory. It is everything is practice. You have to act.
Yes.
And I talked with multiple people, like it has 18 chapters. And I talked with 18 people whom I came across during my journey.
Okay, good.
And down their journey, their what made them to come out from their tunnel, from one point to another point, and saw the light. And they are doing fantastic. And everybody went through struggle. But what made them be there? So for each of the areas where I felt appropriate, I have featured inspiration for everyone. So essentially, that this book becomes your personal handbook.
Gotcha. Your personal handbook. Good.
Exactly. And pick up anything whenever you feel little lost in particular area of these virtues.
If you feel lost, just pick up that book, Soar.
Pick up book that go, and it will automatically help you to invigorate and take your journey further. Excellent. In wherever point you are. And then of course universe is there to help you out.
Yeah, and I'm so glad that you pointed out, finding your why. It's critical that whatever we're doing, we know why is it that we're doing it. And when you find your why, that why is going to drive you to get up every morning, not hit the snooze, the alarm clock 500 times, but you're going to get up and you're going to do it.
Absolutely. And I specifically have pointed very clearly and shared that in order to find out your why, it is also important to find your purpose. Like if purpose and why goes together, but then passion. So all of those things are broken it down.
Yes, that's true.
And
that is so true.
It can go either way around, but essentially it is through your experience, through your actions, and you cannot just wait and say, oh, what is my passion? What should I do? No.
That's right.
Get out there and find it for yourself. But what and how is what I have tried to lay down early part of the book, and then marching forward.
Yeah, in past videos I've shared, you cannot just wait. When I say just wait, you can't just sit and wait for things to drop in your lap, things to happen. You've got to do the work, right? There is work that we have to do. So today I'm going to just jump right into pearl number 3, self-observation. That's in your new book, Self, Rise Above and Beyond. And I love the idea that you and your co-author focused on self, because if we get the man or the woman right, then the world is at our command, right? Once we understand our why, we understand our purpose from your first book. The second book is understanding self.
Yourself.
Right. So tell us about the self-observation piece. What exactly is that? How does that work?
So self-observation is about observing your thoughts. And when it comes to observing your thoughts, it is important to build that muscle of slowing down. We have been always running, and that happens because of the society, because of the culture, because of the pressure, and all different things. That doesn't define us. And unless we don't observe our thoughts, we are not going to know where we are going in a real way. Because otherwise we are just running and don't know what is going to come out of it. And the particular aspect what we have focused upon, or that really want to bring it out, at the end, our thoughts build our universe.
Right.
So if we are not conscious about our thoughts, then we will never see the universe, and probably we will be caged. Like inside.
Don't jump ahead. I have a question on the cage piece.
Sure.
Don't be stealing my question.
Sure.
But I'm excited for that because you talked about this, the self observation is also us becoming more aware of ourselves, right? What are some things that happen when we become more aware?
So that is a very good question.
Mm-hmm.
Again, when you become aware, you start noticing small things around you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That is the most magical thing.
Mm-hmm.
Magic is not about just fireworks and suddenly
Tell him, Rupak.
uh,
You tell him.
Santa, Santa Claus comes in your house. That is not magic. A bird chirping outside and eating small seeds, and if you can notice that and feel
Mm-hmm.
joy out of it, that is magic. And that nobody can teach you. You have to self observe.
Mm-hmm.
You have to get slow yourself
Yeah.
from your perspective of whatever you're doing, become mindful. And once you become self aware, then you notice things around you, and the that is the beauty, and that you can unleash only after you start practicing this. And
Yes.
that is where couple of other options or these things we talked about, taking a, it's not about taking a break of going a long walk, that is
Mm-hmm.
part of it, but
Mm-hmm.
every hour also you must try to take a break for
Mm-hmm.
1 minute or 2 minutes,
Yes.
go inside,
Yes.
settle yourself, and
Mm-hmm.
then start working, and that slowly builds up self-awareness, and
Yeah.
you enjoy,
Definitely.
not note you, yeah.
I took that, from our last conversation and really tried to implement it like after our talk, is to be intentional about every hour just pausing for a moment, just,
Pause.
just pause and just rest in my thoughts and be mindful for that moment. So you just mentioned a little bit ago cages, and when I was reading, you said cage is not made of iron, it's made of your thoughts. And to that point, what triggered for me when I read that is the fact that my book is called Free Me From Me, and on the cover
Correct.
there's a bird coming out of the cage.
I
That
remember.
I felt so trapped for so long because it was me. I put myself in that cage. So can you talk a little bit about that? For those of you who haven't gotten the book, get the book, get the book, get the book. It's going to get you out of your cage. It's going to get you out of your place of complacency. Talk about that, Rupak.
Sure. So, since you're talking specifically about the self-observation and cage,
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely like to read a
Go
couple
ahead.
of snippets
Mm-hmm.
which will make things more clear to the wider audience, whoever will be able
Excellent.
to get a
Go
chance
right
to
ahead
see,
and read
watch
that.
this
Mm-hmm.
video.
Mm-hmm.
So, what it is talking about, it starts, the topic chapter starts with, cages are not made of iron, they are made of our thoughts, and we practice them knowingly or unknowingly.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the background we already talked about, but if what exactly happens, so that what we are trying to convey is, if we observe our thought
Mm-hmm.
process and habits leading to negativity, we can get a clear picture of your own mind.
Mm-hmm.
But we are always so stubborn to even go and look into our thoughts, and we
Mm-hmm.
are not able to perceive the positive thoughts
Mm.
produced from our inner self. So
Yeah.
actually, we are blindsided. We don't realize that the positive thoughts, whatever is cultured in our own
Mm-hmm.
thought process, we are not able to access them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when there is a disconnect within us,
Mm-hmm.
we seek others' help to fill the void. As
Mm-hmm.
we try to talk with the other person, we may try to take avenues of television, we may
Mm-hmm. True.
try to binge it,
Mm-hmm.
because we are not able to access our own self.
Mm-hmm.
And that is only, and so what happens is, it's because, but self is capable of
Mm-hmm.
feeling through self observation.
Yes.
And
Yes.
this is an awareness practice wherein you turn attention inwards and non-judgmentally, and observe
I like that.
what you think, what you feel, and what you do. There is nothing to judge. Nothing
Yeah.
is wrong or right, because
But
after all, it's thoughts.
pause right there for me, because so many times we judge our own self, we judge our thoughts, and just like this, we were talking about mindset. We call ourselves stupid and dumb. You have to get into that zone where you're not judging yourself. And I like that you address that in the book, because I tell you, you know, as I coach people, those are some of the areas that I have to help them get past that negative self talk that they have, and the sabotage that they have about their life. So I'm glad that you addressed it about being non-judgmental, because that's critical.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that itself creates a ripple effect. That
Yes.
once you start doing that, automatically, like you said, once you do that, you will stop self-sabotaging you. And
Mm-hmm.
what we're talking about, that but the process starts with introspection.
Mm-hmm.
And you start realizing your mental state, because then you
Mm-hmm.
get a chance to see where you are in terms of your state of mind.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think about it, this introspection is eventually goes into self-reflection.
Yes. Yes.
Even though it is a minute thing of
Mm-hmm.
not judging yourself
Mm-hmm.
from not actions, forget about actions, by your thoughts,
Yes.
it
Our
creates such
thoughts are
a
huge. Mm-hmm.
huge impact into
Mm-hmm.
self introspection,
Yeah.
self reflection, and eventually you become self aware. And
Yes.
that connects with your behaviors and actions. And
Excellent.
that is how you generate your peace and joy.
Yeah. So my last question that I have for you, and there are two parts to it. In Pearl number 6, it says self trust. You were talking about the master and the hero. And then you also mentioned in that same chapter, the hardest prison to escape is our mind. So tell us a little bit about the master and the hero, and that prison that, you know, I tell you, I can attest to that. I put myself in my own prison, and I had to get myself out, because we are our own rescue. So talk about that. That's going to be the last point I'm going to ask you.
Definitely. So self trust, essentially, what I understand, and I specifically, as part of this book, we try to amplify, is
Mm-hmm.
self trust is essentially about building. It builds based on self esteem,
Mm-hmm.
confidence, and
Mm-hmm.
self acceptance. So these three combined builds a self trust within yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that is where it is a we are talking about the hardest prison to escape is in our own mind.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think about it, self esteem,
Mm-hmm.
after all, is built based upon knowing your self worth. And that again, it's within your own mind. More you compare with others, more
Mm-hmm.
you do self judgment, more
Mm-hmm.
you take judgment from others, that is all going to impact your own behavior and thoughts. And
Mm-hmm.
that becomes your limiting factor to build your
Mm-hmm.
own self esteem.
Yeah. Yeah.
And once that self esteem is low, you are not able to grow your confidence. You are
Mm-hmm.
always going to
Good
trail
point.
under waters.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
once you that is it, then it automatically connects with self acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
You are not going to, you always be in the state of self doubt. You are
Good
never
point.
going to accept yourself of you are.
Mm-hmm.
And once that doesn't happen, that is where your self trust goes to bottom. And
Yeah.
what, and then everything again here it spirals down. Then
Mm-hmm.
you cannot love yourself, you will not care for yourself, and
Mm-hmm.
all the mental and emotional baggages will start taking over, and you will
Right.
find yourself truly in a prison where you will find nowhere to go, and which is
Mm.
your, again it becomes you then stay in your own mind and
Yeah.
locked up.
Yeah. So, you know, the gist of this, our conversation again, was to go a little bit deeper in understanding self. And I'm so glad that you and your co-author took the time to go deeper. I think it's like 14 chapters in your book, and you talk about this. And the important things for us doing this, not just to talk about Rupak's book per se, but it's help that's on the way, because we've got to see ourselves right, so that we can be kinder to ourselves, so that we can love ourselves, not from a narcissistic way, but a
Yeah,
way to know that you're enough, you're valuable, you're a masterpiece, you're worth it, you're worthy. Just think of yourself in a healthy way. Right now in this season that
absolutely.
we're in, there's so much negativity. So I'm so glad that you put paper to pen or finger to keyboard and you typed it out and you made sure we have it in writing. So as we're going to wrap up, any closing thought, and just let us know how we can connect with you. And, you know, if you have any information about your holistic life, I know there's some other stuff that you do. So go right ahead and close us out and just tell us more how we can reach you.
Sure. So I think thank you, Sheila, again to get a second take number 2, as you say, provide the complete core picture present out today. And as a closing, I would say, again, this book is not about just our own what we experience or what we think, but we also have provided all the different tools which you all can use to develop all of this aspect, to become self-aware, do self-introspection, build self-worth. And I definitely encourage everyone to at least take a peek at it and see what you can get and discover yourself. And it's all about as everyone says, an individual journey, but each journey should be enjoyable, and you can make it as beautiful as it can be, because you are your own masterpiece.
Thank you, Ross, for joining. I see your question. I'll ask it at the end. I'll let him finish up, and then I'll ask it at the end. Continue, Roopak.
Yeah. So and again, so that is coming to this book. And regarding my profession or what I do, is at that my whole mission is to reach out to people and try to help them to find their own happiness, or will build their well-being, and really find their purpose, to see how they can expand themselves from holistic perspective. So it is not only, for example, just build a great life, but mind, body, and heartful, to be out there in a meaningful way and fulfilling success. And that is a mission I am on, and where I work as a holistic wellness and lifestyle coach.
And that's so good, so good. So I just love that you're dealing with the mind, body, and spirit, because I tell people, if you can't treat one without the other, because you'll be out of balance. And it's so critical. It's like, to your point, when we connected years ago, who knew our path would cross again in this way, and with the focus that we're all on. So Ross, I had a question. She said, what's the difference between, and thank you, Ross, for your question. What's the difference between self-esteem and self-confidence? She wanted to know.
Very nice, very nice. So self-confidence comes after self-esteem. So self-esteem is at a perspective of thoughts and behaviors. So unless you don't have your self-esteem, which is inner self, you will not be able to act confidently. Your confidence is projected out of your self-esteem and self-worth. So that is the key difference, that self-confidence is based on your action. Like, you are able to you are able to project outside confidently, while self-esteem is more inward. It is your inner awareness, inner experience, which you then projects outside in your actions, in your words, as self-confidence.
Okay, very good. Any other question, Roz, before we say goodbye to Roopak? He's a busy man. I can barely get him to jump on, so I was so glad I was able to snatch him up. He's
no, I'm always my pleasure and thankful for giving this opportunity, for sharing my thoughts and my book, and wish everyone can get access to it. You can definitely post probably Amazon link for people to get either Kindle version or a paper copy, and it would be a great resource for anybody who wants to get on their self journey to discover and rise above and beyond.
That's right. All right. Thank you again so much for coming on, Roopak. I really appreciate your time, Ross. Thank you for your question. Sure. Igniters, go ahead and get the book. Read it, not just read it, apply it. Not just apply it, share it, not just share it, live it. So we got to learn it first.
Love it.
And we live it out, and then we lead our lives in the direction of the information that we're learning. It is critical that we get ourselves right, because when we're right, we'll be right with the world.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.